Hello. I am a 20-year-old woman living with my dad and stepmom while I work and get my SHT together before I move out, but I recently saw some evidence of one of my worst fears and I am very conflicted. For some backstory, I have an older brother, and when we were both very young, he was maybe 4 or 5, and I was either just born or not born yet. My dad had cheated on my mom with 2 other women, one of which being my now stepmom. I have only learned about this in the middle of high school, and for a while it had affected the way I saw my stepmom since she had raised me, despite me wanting to live with my mom/wanting her back since I had always had an amazing relationship with my mother and still do. A little later in life, around middle school, I saw a few texts between my dad and a woman in a bikini, but I had just assumed it was my stepmom, even though she was home, and not some other woman my dad had been sexting, but it had always been a fear in my mind. Anyhow, back to now. I was getting taken home from work yesterday since my dad and I work within the same company, him being in a more boss position and me working a small security job, when I noticed a half-nude plus flirtatious texts from him being sent to a familiar contact, except it wasn't my stepmom, it was an ex-coworker who he talks very highly of on occasion. This caught me way off guard and the whole car ride home was silent and I felt extremely nauseous, since this had now proved my past concerns. As someone who has been cheated on and has gone through tremendous heartbreak, it made me feel so much anger inside and I was truly shaken. As for my stepmom, she is completely clueless. My dad will sometimes go hours without answering her texts, and although she has been the other woman once upon a time, she did raise me and love me as her own as much as my mom did, which has helped me grow to forgive her over the years. She also does anything and everything for my dad, she absolutely loves him hard, and I cannot even begin to imagine how much this would hurt her if she had found out, but as the saying goes, you lose them how you get them. I am really wanting to tell her about this affair, but I know what will happen if I do. It will absolutely destroy the family. I will end up getting the brunt of the abuse as a result. My dad is sometimes an extremely angry person when provoked, breaking stuff and yelling but not getting physical, not anymore. This will not pair well with his defensive and narcissistic attitude. I might get kicked out and have to live alone in the cold-ass Chicago winter, or they will both go insane and LD have to be in the middle of arguments. I myself had already had to go through therapy for the abuse from my dad when I was super little, and I still have some moments with him where the PTSD is absolutely unbearable, so that is another reason why I am worried about. On another end though, resentment from either of them is literally bound to happen, and I already struggle enough with feeling like my parents don't like me. I don't mean to make this about myself, as this is more having to do with my dad and stepmom, so I'm sorry if it seems that way. I already talked to my brother and mom about it and they are both saying I need to save my money and move out as soon as I can, since telling my stepmom while living in that house is not safe at all. I agree with them, but what do you guys think? Any advice is appreciated.